Section 109. Vaisampayana said, upon the birth of those three children, Kurujangala, Kurushetra, and the Kurus grew in prosperity. The earth began to yield abundant harvest, and the crops also were of good flavor. And the clouds began to pour rain in season, and trees became full of fruits and flowers. And the drought cattle were all happy, and the birds and other animals rejoiced exceedingly. And the flowers became fragrant, and the fruits became sweet. The cities and towns became filled with merchants, artisans, traders, and artists of every description. And the people became brave, learned, honest, and happy. And there were no robbers then, nor anybody who was sinful. And it seemed that the golden age had come upon every part of the kingdom. And the people devoted to virtuous acts, sacrifices, and truth, and regarding one another with love and affection, grew in prosperity. And free from pride, wrath, and covetousness, they rejoiced in perfectly innocent sports. And the capital of the Kurus, full as the ocean, was the second Amaravati, teeming with hundreds of palaces and mansions, and possessing gates and arches dark as the clouds. And men in great cheerfulness sported constantly on rivers, lakes, and tanks, and in fine groves and charming woods. And the southern Kurus, in their virtuous rivalry with their northern kinsmen, walked about in the company of Siddhas and Charanas and Rishis. And all over that delightful country, whose prosperity was thus increased by the Kurus, there were no misers and no widowed women, and the wells and lakes were ever full. The groves abounded with trees, and the houses and abodes of Brahmanas were full of wealth, and the whole kingdom was full of festivities. And O king, virtuously ruled by Bhishma, the kingdom was adorned with hundreds of sacrificial stakes, and the wheel of virtue having been set in motion of Bhishma, and the country became so contented that the subjects of other kingdoms, quitting their homes, came to dwell there and increase its population. And the citizens and people were filled with hope upon seeing the youthful acts of their illustrious princes. And O king, in the houses of the Kuru chiefs, as also of the principal citizens, give and heed were the only words constantly heard. And Dhritarashtra and Pandu and Vidura, of great intelligence, were from their birth brought up by Bhishma, as if they were his own children. And the children, having passed through the usual rites of their order, devoted themselves to vows and study. And they grew up into fine youths, skilled in the Vedas and all athletic sports. And they became well skilled in the practice of bow, in horsemanship, in encounters with mace, sword, and shield, in the management of elephants in battle, and in the science of morality, well read in history and the history, and the Puranas and various branches of learning, and acquainted with the truths of the Vedas and their branches, they acquired knowledge, which was versatile and deep. And Pandu, possessed of great prowess, excelled all men in the science of bow, while Dhritarashtra excelled all men in the science of bow, while Dhritarashtra excelled all in personal strength. While in three worlds there was no one equal to Vidura in his devotion to virtue and in knowledge of the dictates of morality. And beholding the restoration of the extinct line of Santanu, the saying became current in all countries that among mothers of heroes, the daughters of the king of Kasi were the first, that among countries Kurujangala was the first, that among virtuous men Vidura was the first, that among cities Hastinapura was the first, Pandu became king for Dhritarashtra owing to the blindness, and Vidura for his birth by a Sudra woman did not obtain the kingdom. One day Bhishma, the foremost of those acquainted with the duties of a statesman and dictates of morality, properly addressing Vidura conversant with the truths of religion and virtue, said as follows. Thus ends the 109th section in the Sambhava Parva of the Adi Parva.